Drew's killing it right now. Huey, talk about what Drew's doing right now, the work that he's doing, and also seeing him in person on Raw on Monday night, and the great stuff he was doing with Seth on that show.
It like you know me. I love Drew McIntyre. He's probably the number one person I've interviewed the most. I think literally I've interviewed him like 10 times.
Wow, he's done a lot of media over the years.
He's done a lot. Like talking to a former WWE PR guy, Adam Hopkins. I was talking to him a few months ago, and he was telling me Drew, when he was WWE champion, told Adam, I'll give you like every Friday or once a week, I'll do press for you as WWE champion. So that was really cool. Drew,
that's awesome.
Sorry to break kayfabe, but Drew loved doing press and promoting himself, WWE, all that stuff. So the character work right now, though, it's been phenomenal because him as a babyface was getting kind of stale, and he needed to change things up. And obviously, in that situation, going heel is the way to go. Yep. But the character work, as far as like him kind of like coming off like this condescending, I'm trying to think the best way to describe it. It's like he's talking as if he's being like sincere, but really it's condescending, and it's like it's all benefiting him. And it's just interesting. His whole initial reasoning for kind of going this way or going mad, going crazy, is because he was so paranoid that he was always losing. Well, one, he didn't get the win in front of a crowd. So that's been eating at him all this time. And people, I remember it was Xavier Woods last year was poking the bear. It's like, oh, you never won in front of a crowd. Like if people were poking the big bear, remind him that you never won the title in front of an audience. And like, you know, your accomplishments are a little bit not as important because of that. And so that kind of ate at him. And then the opportunity when he wanted to win in front of a big crowd in the UK, the bloodline cost him. So he hates anyone bloodline related. And that's kind of anger's been fueling him and which led to him going heel, and he's been paranoid at people, and he's just so upset. But in many ways, you gotta give Triple H or whoever creative, the powers that be, credit. Heels now under WWE or under Triple H's regime, their motive makes sense. It's very humanized. You understand. Like, I understand why Drew went heel. Like, you can make the argument if I was in that situation, I'd probably do the same thing. Like, I would be pissed too. Like I'd be pissed at Cody. You brought Jey Uso. I see him, even though he's all good and trying to patch his errors in the past. I still see him as a member of the bloodline. He cost me my big opportunity, so I hate him no matter what. And so you understand you understand Drew's reasoning. You may not agree with it, but at least you understand where he's coming from. But now where he's going, like this past Monday, he's poking the bear of CM Punk. He's like, Australia, elimination, it was a really tough match. And, he said he had like a busted eardrum, and the doctor said, maybe I not make it to WrestleMania. But I said, no, I will make it to WrestleMania. I will not be like CM Punk. And so he's like just sticking it to CM Punk that he's better than him. And then, he even sits, he sits down like CM Punk, cross-leg in the ring, middle of the ring, telling the cameraman, don't film up my skirt. Like, just like the kill, like it's just those little shows off his personality. And then, but this big motive, the other thing too, he's getting wins, kind of like things happening in his way. Like he was able to sneak a win at Elimination Chamber. What was on Raw a couple weeks ago, he was able to pull off a win because of someone else's help. And he's like, okay, I'll take it.
Exactly.
So he's benefiting. He's not necessarily cheating himself, but he's benefiting from other people's actions. And so, like I said, the condescending attitude and like, Punk, I know you don't drink, so I celebrate by drinking for both of us. And so it's just this condescending attitude. The character work is great. It's working. And, for me, I really want to see him win at WrestleMania from a big crowd. And even though he's a heel, I'll still cheer for him when he wins or if he wins.
I mean, we talk about finishing the story. That's the story, and the Cody one too, obviously. But I mean, I feel like one of the first stories that has to be finished is Drew McIntyre winning a world championship in this company in front of fans. Already a two-time WWE champion, but neither of those wins came in front of a crowd back in 2020. We now have that at WrestleMania whatever this is going to be, WrestleMania 40 coming up in April. And I feel like this is the perfect opportunity. Rollins has been champion long enough. And the funny thing is, this would not have happened if Punk was still healthy. If Punk was still healthy and we got Rollins and Punk, which we were going to, I don't even know what they were going to do with Drew McIntyre and Mania. And I don't think it would have been Cody either. I know that was a report at one point that they were not going to do Cody and Drew. And Cody was always going to do probably what he's doing now. So I don't know what Drew would have done. Maybe involved in the Intercontinental title match. I don't know. But
I was going to say, it's kind of a happy accident here. Yeah. It's unfortunate not seeing CM Punk, who just returned to the company, to see him get his main event opportunity at a WrestleMania. And it would have been perfect with Seth Rollins. The story was right there. As far as, when he returned at Survivor Series War Games, Seth was so pissed. And then they're both from Chicago. I know technically Seth from Iowa, but he's more or less from Chicago. So it could have been the Battle of Chicago. Who's Chicago's real son here? And it was a natural, easy story to follow. Seth versus CM Punk. And, CM Punk, if the reports are true, he got eliminated at Royal Rumble, but win Chamber and get his main event opportunity finally at a Mania that he's never gone. He's accomplished everything else, but not get a main event opportunity at WrestleMania. That's his story too. There's a lot of people with unfinished stories, but unfortunately him getting injured. But now, like I said, happy accident. Now for Drew, this is a great opportunity for him in finishing his story of winning a world title in front of the crowd. And I'm excited for that opportunity. And, CM Punk, he can still talk. So I still hope they use him for some form of segments, using his mouthpiece for something. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, especially come with Drew this week, it was reported from, I think, BWE, a source I don't think is all that credible, but they had said that Drew had re-signed.
Yeah.
And then it came out from Alex McCarthy of Mail Sport, I believe, or Daily Mail rather. I think that's the source, that he had said that Drew is not re-signed as of right now. What do you believe is currently? I mean, I believe that he's currently not re-signed, and I think he ultimately will at this point. Or do you think otherwise? Especially with all the Punk talk too, I feel like they wouldn't have done that if they're. I don't know. Do you think they're under the impression that Drew will resign? And do you think he will? It's tough.
My heart is thinking Drew resigned, but he's probably like, let's keep it a secret. Like, I really want this a secret, because if it's known that he resigned, then people are going to think, oh, as a reward, they're going to give him the world championship win. I think having that mindset, we don't know, then it creates more doubt on what the finish is going to be at WrestleMania. It's like, oh, if he didn't resign, maybe he's just going to do the job and let Seth retain, and then he's going to be on his way and leave the company. I know some people are saying, oh, I want to see him go elsewhere and fresh start. I'm like, no, like,
why would he need to? What would he even do in AEW at this point?
AEW got too many people already. They're about to get Okada and all this stuff. Like,
they don't need him.
They don't need Drew. Like, Drew Galloway's cool, but Drew McIntyre is the moneymaker right there. Like, I want to see him shine, and the character's working right now. Yeah, let's keep that momentum going and see where that can go throughout the spring and summer. Him as a world champion, what that mentality, the heel mentality he has right now, what kind of character work he can do with that as a world champion. That's going to be fascinating. And I think that's going to be interesting. I'd rather see that play out. My only, how can I say this? The only thing I could think of, I don't know what Sheamus' status is. We know we know they're best friends.
Yep.
Who knows what they talk about privately? This is me just speculating.
Yeah.
We know over in AEW, they got friends over there. Miro's over there. They're buddies, in their weddings and whatnot. I'm always wondering, like, what can that lead to? Like, could they go be with their buddies over in AEW? I don't know. I don't want that. Me personally, I want Sheamus to stay. I want Drew to stay. I feel like Drew now, this new character, it's a whole fresh take for him, and there's so much fresh new stories they can do with that, and let him take the ball and run with it and see what they can do. Fresh matchups. That's another thing. We were talking about matchups earlier. Seth has had almost a year. I mean, he won it in May last year, so he's had a long title reign. Let Drew become champion and then get some fresh matchups in that main event scene on Raw as well. So I feel like the wrestling fan in me is like, I'm wondering if maybe he did resign, but they just want to keep it a secret just to keep that element of surprise and what if was going to happen. But then the other thing too, maybe Drew wants to take just time off. I mean, he's been going.
I was thinking, yeah.
Just heal up and rest, take time off and rest his body. And maybe that's the thing. Is like, or maybe he re-signed, but maybe the stipulation is he gets to take time off still. But then that sucks. Then that means he would lose at WrestleMania.
Exactly. Yeah.
So my heart wants him to win WrestleMania, and therefore that means he re-signed with the company.
I hope so. I think if they can keep it quiet until then, that he's re-signed. Because that's the thing. If he really wants some time off, which he definitely deserves, I want him to get that time off. But I also want him as world heavyweight champion. I don't really think we need Rollins as world champion beyond Mania.